Hi everyone, welcome to Honors Day. My name is May. We're really happy that you are here. I work in the admissions office, and today I'm going to be asking Miss Stephanie Levan a few questions about the Study Abroad program and kind of what that looks like at CSU. So if you want to introduce yourself, then we'll get started.
I'm Stephanie Levan. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Global Engagement, which is just a big title that means I do international things. So we do study abroad, we have our partnerships with international universities, and we recruit international students.
Okay, great. Well, let's jump into the question. So the first one is, at a high level, what does study abroad look like for an honors college student, and why is it such a strong complement to an honors education?
There are multiple different ways that honors college students can participate in study abroad. One is that the honors college itself does a trip abroad in the summertime. But other than that, if semester-long study abroad is something that students are interested in, we have approximately 200 different destinations that students can choose from for semester-long study abroad. I would highly recommend that your students consider study abroad because it is often for students one of their favorite semesters. The enrichment that your student will experience in being in another country and learning in an academic environment that is instructed in English but is housed in another country is going to be a transformative experience for them.
Okay, great. What are some of the top places that people have gone?
So we have a lot of longtime partners. Some are in Austria. We've been partners from the early 2000s, our universities. So that is one of the favorite programs. Spain often hits the top of the list. The United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand is a common popular favorite.
Awesome. All right. Parents often worry that studying abroad might delay graduation. How do honor students stay on track academically while studying abroad?
That's a great question. And it's important for you to know that we pre-approve all of the courses that students take while they're studying abroad with the registrar's office and with their colleges. So there's no misunderstanding about exactly how those courses will transfer into their transcript, because all of that is done in advance. The study abroad student, after meeting with me, meets with their advisor. They look at the courses that they're interested in. They look at their degree progression and make decisions about what do we need to fit in to be sure that you graduate on time. So those conversations happen at an institutional level before the student goes abroad, and everything is arranged.
Is it typically those conversations kind of like the semester before when they're doing their regular advising appointments?
Good question. We recommend that students who are considering study abroad first make their appointment with me about a year in advance. That is an ideal scenario, so I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes it happens in a far more condensed time frame than 1 year. So we can be flexible with that, but the more lead time a student has to begin processing this with their advisor, the better.
Okay. Safety is top of mind for families. What support systems are in place before students depart and while they're overseas?
So parents often ask that question, and I understand that because I'm a parent too. So we have multiple protocols that I can share with you. Students who travel abroad with our vendors have world-class crisis management teams at their disposal, evacuation insurance, medical insurance, everything you can imagine that would be something important for safety. That those systems have already been built, and they've been built well. Study abroad students statistically have less likelihood of an accident or mortality than domestic students that are studying here in the United States. And that's a good that's a good statistic for you to know, that historically study abroad has been statistically a very safe exercise for students.
Okay, great. How flexible are study abroad options for students in rigorous majors like STEM, business, health science, aeronautics, things like that?
The medical sciences have prerequisites that are going toward a licensure. So the health sciences are one of the most difficult, challenging areas for study abroad. That's why many of the health sciences offer faculty-led summer programs for 10 days to 2 weeks, because they know that semester-long study abroad for their students would be extremely challenging. Any major that progresses on a cohort basis, meaning that there is a prescribed course list for each semester that the student studies abroad, if they are in a cohort-based progression, that's an indication that their coursework is so dense that study abroad during the semester might be challenging. So we have dozens and dozens of summer options for students that are in STEM and other majors. The College of Business has more participation in study abroad than any other college at CSU. So it's not difficult for students to study abroad or inside the College of Business. But there are some majors that are a little bit more tricky. And for those majors, I suggest summer study abroad, which is very fulfilling, and it can be lengthy. You can go from May all the way until August.
Is there also opportunities during spring break for students to do that too?
Spring break is best facilitated with faculty-led study abroad. We typically have 1 to 2 faculty-led study abroad options for students during spring break. The reason that that's not popular with our vendors is because every university across the United States has a different time frame for spring break. So it's a challenge to get those exact dates lined up for something as brief as a 1-week time period. But we do have CSU faculty-led trips.
Okay. Many families assume study abroad is cost prohibitive. What financial aid or scholarship options are available, particularly for honor students?
Great question. So we have multiple types of study abroad. We have faculty-led study abroad, which is usually summer and usually a 10-day to 2-week experience. That is an out-of-pocket expense, and the average cost is between $4,000 to $6,000 for that experience. It can be as long as 3 weeks. The other kind of study abroad is an exchange program. When students who are honors students have significant scholarships, I recommend considering one of our exchange partners. And we have 3 or 4 around the world where we just swap students. We do not exchange tuition bills. So the students will pay exactly what they pay CSU for tuition. And if that's 0, or that's a nominal number because of very high scholarships, then for that semester abroad, it is also a nominal number because you're paying CSU just like you always do. So tuition is paid at CSU, housing is paid at the host university abroad, and that makes it extremely economical.
Okay, awesome. How does a global experience help honor students stand out in graduate applications and competitive careers?
Both graduate applications and the length of time it takes to get a job post-graduation are statistically changed for study abroad students. So study abroad students are more likely to get the graduate school of choice than non-study abroad students. Study abroad students are also more likely to get their job of choice in a reduced amount of time than the average domestic student who has not studied abroad. So in both categories, study abroad students win the day because they have demonstrated an ability to work with diverse teams, to rise to the challenges that they face in another country, and adapt to a culture that they've never been in before. So that tells both an employer and a graduate school that this student is capable of meeting the challenges in a workplace or in grad school.
Okay, great. What's your advice to parents who are interested but hesitant, and what should families do first if study abroad is one of their goals?
I would recommend talking to me. So my contact information, I'm Stephanie Levan. My email address is slevan, so SLEVAN, at csuniv.edu. And the best plan is to talk with me. Send your student my way. I'm in the Hunter Center, and I would be delighted to talk with them about their particular goals with study abroad, their country of interest, their major, and look through the options that student has. I also talk with parents. Remember that we are FERPA compliant, and that means that I can only talk to you if your student has given permission on the FERPA waiver. But if he or she has, I would be delighted to talk with you about study abroad and any of the concerns or questions you might have.
All right, well, thank you. Reach out to Miss Stephanie if y'all have any questions, but we hope that y'all are enjoying Honors Day.
Thanks for being with us today.